A new batch of Twitter files have been released showing that the United States got permission from the platform to use it to spread propaganda. Okay. Now, first of all, these stories are coming out by an organization that both you and I really think is critically important. This is The Intercept.
Yep.
And you're dealing with reporters like Lee Fong, who is just, this guy ought to wear, he ought to win Pulitzers left and right, but he doesn't because he's working with social media. So I look at this story, and it's not just government. We're talking about the spook industry. We're talking about the CIA, FBI, the Department of Defense using this vehicle for sheer propaganda. And now we know it. Before it was just, well, maybe they are. No, they are.
Right. What Lee Fong uncovered here in this new batch of Twitter files, which to me, the first batch is I don't really care.
I agree.
This is a big one.
Yep.
This is you should have led with this because this is important.
I totally agree.
But what he found was these emails from the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, the CIA, saying, hey, Twitter, you seem to have throttled this account here, and they'd give them normal sounding names. And they said, listen, this is actually what we use to, spread lies about these other countries. Yeah. So we're going to need you to go ahead and whitelist all these accounts. And they would send a big old list.
Explain the whitelist thing. They got the blacklist and they got the white. What's the whitelist?
The whitelist means you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want, and Twitter is not going to, they're not going to throttle you, they're not going to shadow ban, and they're not going to ban you at all. They're going to let you do whatever it is you need to do. Because according to the government, look, this is in our national interest. Mm-hmm. We need to convince the people in Iraq that Iran is about to attack them at any given moment. And that's one of the things.
It's crazy stories. Like it's CENTCOM. CENTCOM, explain CENTCOM to the viewers, please.
Yeah, that is the centralized command center, basically, of the entire, not just defense, but I guess intelligence apparatus in the United States.
It's the center of the spook industry.
It's the hub.
Yeah, it is the hub of the spook industry. And now, okay, first, on so many levels. First of all, we know now the CIA was directly involved with this, okay? We know that after the church hearings, it was made very clear the CIA should have they shouldn't touch domestic politics at all. Jack Dorsey obviously knew exactly what was going on. It had been going on for 5 years?
Yeah.
There's
there's
a 5-year history that we know about just by what's showing up. But you see the problem here. I don't know how anybody listening to this story says, oh, it's okay. It's okay if government creates propaganda. It's the same thing, if you remember, that they went after the Russians about. The Russians are creating propaganda. Well, they spent $175,000 creating propaganda. Here, this is a limitless budget coming directly from the U.S. government that says, we want to tell a story the way we want to tell the story. We want to gin up interest in Syria. We want to make people mad about Ukraine. We want to make sure that Venezuela is something we talk about all the time. We want to create this centered message by way of your site, Jack Dorsey. And Jack Dorsey said, okay.
We also want to control the narrative about what's happening in Yemen, too.
Good point.
And that's, Saudi Arabia going after Yemen.
Yeah.
So they wanted to completely whitewash everything that was happening there. And I cannot stress this enough. The government itself, and this goes back to, and I guess this is worth mentioning definitely, where we talked about years ago in the military budget, suddenly it was uncovered, you're setting up a propaganda arm.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with this propaganda arm? Okay, well, now we know.
Hell, Obama blessed it. Obama said, yeah, we're going to have
it was his last year, I think,
last year we're going to create a propaganda arm where the U.S. government is going to create just not international propaganda, national propaganda.
Yeah.
Here's how they did it. They actually were willing to create computer-generated personalities. Okay, they would take Farron Cousins. They'd put another head on Farron Cousins. This is a new character, Farron Cousins. He's telling a story for Apex News Service. Apex News Service was computer-generated. It wasn't even real. It was fake. Wasn't even out there. And then they'd create the fake story that the fake Farron Cousins would tell on the fake network. And people listen to this story and going to say, well, that's okay. That's okay because, well, it's making us safer. Really? Come on.
No, this is absolutely meant to create more tension in the Middle East, to excuse the worst behavior of some of the people that we call our friends, but really are the biggest enemies we've got out there, attacking the countries that, we want people to think are the real enemies. It's disgusting.
Whitewashing Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Now that's a big one. Let's whitewash this nutcase, this Prince nutcase, who, didn't they set a record last year for beheading people?
Yep.
We know, I think we always talk about this guy without talking about the fact that he is a bloodthirsty murderer.
Yes.
Khashoggi, that's one part of the story. If you look at this guy's history, it's awful. So what do? We use Jack Dorsey, we use his network to whitewash a guy like that. And the government is doing it by creating the story, creating these news services that don't even exist. And nobody even asked the question, I've never heard of Apex News Service. It sounds credible because it's been created by the government.
Well, and people have to understand there's actual human beings at the CIA, possibly at the FBI, and the Pentagon that do this all day. They make up these fake articles.
Yeah.
These are people, how do you go home? How do you tell your wife and kids, like, oh, I had a great day today. I convinced Iraq that Iran was putting meth in their water supply.
Yeah, that was a story, wasn't it?
It was. That was a real thing.
They told
did.
the world that it was a big story in the U.S. Of course, the idiots on MSNBC, the idiots on Fox, the idiots on CNN pick up that story. They pick it up right off of social media and say, did you know that Iran is putting meth in the Iraqi drinking water? It's created by the government. And these morons that are running these news services don't even stop to ask, is this a real story? Yeah. How about the bombing in Poland?
Right, yeah, the AP guy who came out and said, Russia just sent missiles into Poland, they've killed a couple people, and then...
The story behind that was, this came from an anonymous service.
Yeah.
An anonymous source, an anonymous service created by the government. This is terrifying to me. I don't know why it is.